Okay.
There you go.
Oh, goodness me. Monday, guys. Here we are live on Novak News. I think we call it Real Talk Weekly now. It only took 5 of us to set this up tonight. Thank you, boys.
See you guys.
Thank you. Thank God for the young ones. Seriously, they are the best.
Wow.
Guys, tonight we're going to be talking about selling high and buying low. Does it really exist? Stay tuned. We're going to unpack this tonight. So does anyone ever use technology and you really think that you're still young and you still got it all sorted, and then you realize that you do something that an old person does? Like you click on a button and the young people that were all standing around and looking at Mark like, that's like something that my grandfather would do.
It's like when you give your phone to show a photo to an old person and press all over the screen. You're like, stop doing that. And you give it to them again. And they're like, it's not on the screen.
Literally.
Yeah, well, it must be a word.
Literally. Yeah, it's called old.
Yeah.
It's called getting old. It's
Yes,
time
yes.
to face the facts, mate.
Yes,
Time to face
yes,
it.
yes.
All right, guys. So tonight we want to unpack something that we hear a lot about in the market. You know, when you're dealing with vendors and buyers, you know, vendors that are suggesting that the price isn't where they need it to be, and they're just going to wait for the market to come up. And then, you know, we're dealing with buyers who say, no, I'm not going to buy now. I'm going to wait because the market's going to come down. I was talking with a lovely buyer today, and he said, well, I think I'll just hold off for another year or two until the market just plummets. What do you think about that, Mark?
Been hearing my whole life.
Yeah.
The bust, the boom, and then the bust.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like later. Never
There's
happens.
a sign, I think it's on your desk, Mark, or it might be on our photo wall.
Yes.
And it says it's something about the man that waited for the property market to come down.
This is the young man that waited for the property market to come down. It's like an 80-year-old guy. It just doesn't do that. It just doesn't.
Yeah.
It just does its double every 10 years, maybe to be a bit longer, maybe to be a bit shorter. But it's been a very good property market the last 100 years. It'll be a very good property market the next 100 years.
Yeah.
It just, that's what it does. But it's really interesting banter because people have got really good reasons why the property market's not going to continue to do and I don't get it. It's the same fundamental reasons that have been going on for decades and centuries.
Yeah. So the person that is wanting to sell high and then they're going to wait and they want to then buy it low. I mean, you've been in real estate now for how long?
32.
Okay. Have you seen this take place? No, true. Like, we're just having a good, honest, open conversation. Have you actually seen that take place where someone has sold at the peak and then they've bought when the market has come off?
Nope.
Doesn't happen.
Nope.
So
Nor the beaches, though. It's a good. I think there are areas of Sydney where there's a lot of supply that hits those areas, and they do get affected. But Northern Beach is a very low supply area.
Well, that's right. There's not much building that goes on, particularly now. It's less and less and less. I mean, we're dealing with a few off the plans, but considering how many people are moving into the area, you look at areas like Zetland, Alexandria, around those areas, Homebush, Parramatta,
right?
You know, where the supply surpasses the demand. Here on the Northern Beaches, we've got it the other way around.
Yep.
So you park your money into property, and I can guarantee you that when you circle back to that property in, you know, the property market, as you were saying, doubles every 10 years.
Yep.
When you circle back to that, you're definitely making money. So the people that are saying that they're going to sell and then they're just going to wait, that's a very dangerous scenario, guys. It really, really is. The best way to do it is to buy and sell in the same market. Because particularly at the moment, what's happening is the market's actually climbing. So what can often happen is you can sell now and then you can wait, you can go rent, and then you can try and get back into the market in about 12 months' time. And if that market shifts 5%, which is highly likely, if it shifts 5%, you could actually be priced out of the market. And then waiting is not going to help. If we look at 2-bedroom apartments on the Northern Beaches, I think that speaks volumes about what is going on here on the Northern Beaches. 2-bedroom apartments, and we have lots of them.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we have lots of them. Actually, I want to give. I just want to give a case study on a 2-bedroom apartment that I had sold to a client of mine 2 years ago for $875,000. Really nice 2-bedroom apartment in Pacific Parade, DY. That is a street where there's loads of apartments. I just resold that apartment for them, and they hadn't done a single thing to it for $1.127 million.
Lots of those examples lately.
Lots. And then a house on Plateau Road in Collaroy that I've just recently sold as well. I had sold it to that client 2.5 years ago for circa 2.4 million. They also hadn't done a single thing to it, and we just resold it for 2.9 million. So I think that starts to give you guys a bit of an idea as to what's going on with the market. Yeah, massive.
It's big bucks. But I think, look, guys, the big thing is, when do you buy and when do you sell? It's all about that timing. And I always liken it to getting in a lift in a high building, right? Mm-hmm. Say it's a 30, 40-story building. People want to get in at 1 and they want to get out at 30. Right, that is like the piece de resistance. That is the art of the deal. So if they can get in at level 1, ride the lift to level 30, they are heroes. That's gambling. And gambling ain't going to work too well for you. You're going to miss time and misjudge it. But what I can say, if you get in that lift at level 5 or 10, and you get out at level sort of 15 or 22 or something, it's a good ride. That's not really speculating. You always know it's going to go. It's just going to go up and up. So
yeah,
you've just got to be really careful, guys, about like timing that market to a T. I love what Tom Panel says. It's time in, not time in. So
that's right. The
longer you keep, you just stay in there. And I'm always telling people not to sell. My whole life, I told people not to sell.
Yeah, but and I hear what you're saying, Mark, about time in the market. But if you just have a look at those two scenarios that I just spoke about, the apartment that I just sold for 1.127 mil, and then the house that I just sold for 2.9 mil, those guys have been in the market for less than 3 years. Like, it just shows you guys that growth that is happening here on the Northern Beaches. And then I was just with a client.
Interest rates.
Well, that's right. Then you put the interest rate equation into it as well.
That was growth.
Yeah.
In the opposite to what you would think. You'd say there's been 14 rate rises and rates,
that's right,
turbulence, and it went up like that.
It went up.
It's so counterintuitive.
Yeah, it is. It's unbelievable. But just off the back of what you were just saying, Mark, like, when is the best time to sell?
Yeah.
I met with some lovely elderly clients on Saturday afternoon, and they were saying, when should we do this? Should we do it now, or should we wait until next year? And my answer to them is my same answer to every single client that I'm ever dealing with. It's when it works for you. That is the truth, because people that are always trying to plan the market, there is no calendar in our diary that says the market is going to plateau on this date. The market is going to go up on that date, and the market's coming down on this date. It's when it works for your situation. That is the truth. But the best thing to do, guys, rather than trying to play roulette with the property market, is to buy and sell in exactly the same market.
Yeah. Well, look at some of our families.
Is that not the safest thing to do? Like, seriously?
Absolutely. Some of our families buying at the moment, and they're getting in. It's a pretty hot market now. They're getting in a hot market. Yeah. But what I do know is, some of the stock that I'm seeing everyone buy, I know that's just a winner. I know it's a winner. I know the next couple of years it's going to be unbelievable. And don't forget, the interest rates and the rents are starting to come to parity now. So
Yeah, they are.
that
Yeah.
what was happening was it was just so hard to hold that property because rents have jacked up so much. It's actually not hard to hold an investment property anymore. So that's at about 5%. So 5% is if your interest rates are 5.5% and your rental return is 5.5%, you're almost at parity. It's almost paying for itself. So it's getting really nice, this property market. It's yeah, for an investor, it's pretty cool.
And not only that, but the days on market, how long it's taking to get a property sold. I would hazard a guess and say that they've halved. Average days on market was sitting at about 30 to 40 days. Average days on market, we're talking about the Northern Beaches at the moment, guys, but they've definitely halved. Often I'm sitting doing a sales proposal and I'm saying this one sold in 17 days, that one sold in 14 days. The days on market's come down, and that's purely because of the lack of supply and the increase in demand from those buyers. And it's the same with the rental market.
Yep.
It's exactly the same with the rental market. I've just been helping my mum, actually. We manage one of her properties, and usually that property can take a little bit longer to get a tenant in there. I think they had like 20 something people come through. There was like 10 applications on it, and it was literally signed up today. And we're hearing that a lot. I mean, that's being reported a lot in the news.
Yep.
And I can't see that getting better anytime soon either.
That's incredible.
So, and to the vendors that are out there, that have got their properties on the market and they're saying, well, you keep talking about how great the market is, yet I can't get the price that I'm looking for my property. It doesn't mean that the market's not great. You need to have a good look at what is selling around your property and see how that compares to your property, because it could very well be that the expectations that you have for the price of your property are higher than where the market's at. It doesn't mean the market's not good. We're constantly tracking what properties are selling around the area and how that compares to other properties that are on the market. But it doesn't mean the market's not great. It may very well mean that the expectations that you have on your property are higher, as I said, than where the market's at. And in that situation, you really have two options, to either just meet the market where it's at, if that works for your situation, or hold your property and wait for the market to catch up.
And you know what? You got to look at the ingredients of what go into the cake of property. It's a building, it's a structure, it's land, and you think to yourself, those things aren't going down. Those things aren't going down. So at the end of the day, it's always going to perform really well. If anything, the building costs are just like to renovate or to build is just so expensive. Now, if the ingredients of the cake are expensive to buy, the cost of the cake goes up, right? So property values are even being underpinned with these building costs that are out there as well, because it's so expensive to build. So it's it's all there's so many indicators in the market that are all positive towards it at the moment. But I think the thing today we're really trying to put our finger on is mastering the market and say, how do you actually, get in there and buy low and sell high? That's the art of the question.
But hang on, but what feels like it's high today is actually low tomorrow. So, there's been many a time where, we've sold a property and a buyer's like, well, I know I overpaid for this property. You look at that property that I sold in Pacific Parade DY. There's a fine example, that I sold to these lovely clients circa 2 years ago, and they felt they overpaid at the time, $875,000. We ran a best and fairest on it, if you remember, Mark.
Can you imagine how they felt?
We ran a best and fairest.
Imagine how they felt that night when they bought it. They would have been like, ooh.
Yep.
And then you think about that night when they sold it, it's just like, no way.
And now, as I said, then they resold and, or they sold just now a couple of weeks ago and got 1.127 million.
Yeah.
And that was massive money when they purchased at the time. And guys, understand that's for a 2-bedroom apartment. It's not like you can add in a pool or you can put on another story. They did nothing to this property. Not a single thing. They didn't change the kitchen. They didn't change the bathroom. Everything was exactly as it was. So, I'm dealing with a buyer at the moment, and he's like, we love the property, but we feel like we're overpaying. I'm like, okay, but you're not. This market's on the way up. You're going to blink, and that property has gone up 5 or 10%. One night you'll go to sleep. The next morning you'll wake up. You'll be like, hang on a second. did we just make a whole lot of money on this property?
The negative Nancy's in the marketplace, the people that are talking it down, the people that are abstaining, the people that got so many damn good reasons why that property shouldn't be purchased at the moment. Have a good long hard think about the argument. And some of the things that we hear is you just can't keep doing that. Unemployment, is it just can't happen. There's every single one of those things has been around forever.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All of those, like, oh no, America's stuffed at the moment, or there's a war, there's wars going on. There's always been wars. America, there's always been these battles. Interesting. What I hear is the world's changed because of COVID, and it's like we've had pandemics, epidemics, we've had recessions, we've had GFC 1, GFC 2. There's been so much adversity over the last 100 years. 200 years, 300 years, 5 years, and it just keeps going. It just keeps rocking through it. Yeah. So I think stay positive. If you can afford it, get in there.
Get into the market. That is definitely my recommendation.
Not time in.
Yeah.
I don't think there's ever a bad time to buy because you're holding it long. And don't, if your intentions are to jump in and jump out within a couple of years, you're going to fail. So it's got to be a long-term hold. Even just if you look at transactionals with stamp duty and agent selling fee, you're losing 6% on the way in and on the way out of property.
Well, that's right.
It's got to be long.
You've got agents' commissions. You've got stamp duty. The costs are excessive.
Yeah.
And not only that, sometimes people will try and play the property market like they do the stock market. Where you put some money in, you make some money on shares, and you can pull it out. The stock market's not like that. It's like a slow steam train. Usually, it has been an anomaly the last couple of years where people have purchased property and then they've made really good money and haven't done anything. It's been an unusual property market. But, we're as real estate agents, if someone was asking, when should I buy? It's like, get in now. Listen, we gave the same advice to our two daughters. Exactly the same advice. We're like, girls, you need to get into this property market now. It's going to get away from you.
Yeah. They didn't.
Well, our eldest daughter bought an investment about 8 months ago now, I'd say.
Yeah.
And we were like, you've got to buy in. And in that period of time, that property that she purchased, which was here on the Northern Beaches, a 2-bedroom apartment, has done unbelievably well. She hasn't done a single thing to it.
My mastering comment would be go hard and go long.
Confucius Day. Go hard, go long. But it's true. Look, anyone, I mean, there's, on the Northern Beaches.
Novak. Like Confucius, but Novak.
Sounds like another dad joke to me. But the reality is that the real estate market has been very kind to most people. And the people that we see that miss the boat are the ones that wait. The buyers that say, I'm just going to wait. I'm going to wait for more stock to come on. I'm going to wait for the interest rates to come down. I'm going to wait for the market to crash. And then you continually see these same buyers that opens after a year, after 2 years. And it's like, you do realise that if you bought something, that money would have made, that buying into that property that you should have bought would have made you really, really good money. The facts are there.
And guys, the live show, if you've got any questions, throw them at us now. Make sure you're on the Novak Facebook and call us. Like, we are here 24/7 for you. Flick us an SMS, call us, message us on socials. We're here to help. There's no such thing as a silly question or a dumb question, stupid question. They're all good questions.
I also just want to address, Mark, with the first home buyer scheme that's come in with that 5% deposit. I have to say, I haven't seen a massive change in the first home buyer market. I thought come the 1st of October, I was going to see the floodgates open and we were going to see all these young first home buyers rushing in to buy property. It hasn't happened. No. And I don't know if it's just taken a little while for it to pick up, but I haven't seen it happen. There hasn't been a mad significant change in first home buyers rushing in to buy stock.
You've got to have a pretty chunky wage.
Well, you need to, it's still a lot of money.
Like, if you want to earn
entry level on the beaches,
buy for $650 first home buy, you're going to be sitting on a group certificate earning of 120.
That's right.
Don't you?
So it's all
That's
good and well with the
massive.
5% deposit, but the
You've
reality
got to
is
have a bumper of a
There you
wage
go.
because the banks just want responsible lending.
That's
and
right.
it's fat or a couple. You can combine your incomes and off you go.
And also entry level here on the Northern Beaches. If you're a first time buyer and you're trying to get in, purchase your first property, good luck trying to find anything now that's under 600,000, like 600,000. Good luck. I just exchanged a studio apartment about 3 days ago in DY for 620,000. I think that's about entry level now.
Wow.
There's nothing much under that.
Wow.
So it is really hard. First time buyers, 5% deposit scheme or not, it's very hard for these first time buyers to get in.
Yeah.
You can see you need a huge chunk of money.
Massive.
It's unbelievable.
So,
Unbelievable.
words of today. My words.
My
Go-
words.
Go
yours?
hard.
Yeah.
Go long.
Go hard, go long. I say get into the market now, guys. Seriously, we are seeing this market creeping up literally in front of our eyes. Literally. As I said, our daughter bought 8 months ago a 2-bedroom apartment as an investment, hasn't done a single thing to it. And I reckon, I'm not even going to ask Mark, but I'm going to say I think that apartment in 8 months has gone up about $150,000. What do you think?
100. It's good. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
I reckon 150.
It's amazing.
But anyway, listen, 100,000. Try and make $100,000
But at that,
in 8
at
months.
that time, we didn't know.
We had no
were-
idea. We don't know when the turning of the market is.
We were confident. But what's my point? Go hard, go long.
Buy. Seriously, guys, buy now because that market is definitely coming up in front of our eyes. Hopefully this has helped everyone out there. If you've got any questions, we're always here to help.
Love ya.
See you guys.